There are some unpredictable and downright dangerous natural phenomena that simply leave us in awe and somewhat terrified. If you're on the ocean and see a disconcerting reddish tint in the water, and perhaps a smell of rotting fish, you might want to get out of the water immediately. There is a phenomenon known as red tide, which is an event caused by harmful algae multiplying rapidly, and it's not completely harmless to humans.
I feel like I've gotten a little bit of a cough and a little bit ill while I'm here. I didn't even know red tide existed.
What causes a red tide is basically too much nutrients in sunlight, which might sound like a good thing, but it can make the bad kind of algae go on a growth spurt called blooms. This algae then releases toxins that can mess with sea life, making fish and other critters sick. Some sharks are smart enough to seek refuge from red tide, like these hundreds of sharks that could be seen last year in Florida's canals trying to survive.
Janelle Branower noticed an unusual sight. As she grabbed her phone, she recorded these images and dialed the experts.
And if you were to swim in water affected by red tide, it can irritate your skin and eyes, and sometimes even leads to coughing and wheezing. But well, for some reason, beachgoers seem to ignore all the signs.
A lot of dead fish, a lot of dead, marine animals on the shore.
First day we were here, you could tell it hit your lungs and your throat and your nose almost immediately, but it's gotten better since then.
Even though when we think about volcanoes, we immediately think of those on land, scientists believe that 8 out of 10 volcanic eruptions occur in the ocean. But since most of these volcanoes are thousands of feet deep, they're nearly impossible to find. But that changed when the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration managed to caught on film a submarine volcano eruption, nearly 4,000 feet below the surface of the Pacific Ocean. And it's an incredible sight to see. Mount St. Helens experienced a dramatic transformation over the years that left geologists and tourists in awe. Scientists were able to trace back this phenomena to an eruption of 1980, which caused the mountain to blow its lid. And instead of remaining dormant, Mount St. Helens somehow started a process of rebuilding. As magma oozed up, it began to solidify, creating a dome that steadily grew over the years. Sinkholes can form without much warning. One moment you're on solid ground, and the next you could find yourself plunging into the depths below. And this is particularly scary since they can be incredibly deep, with the deepest sinkhole in the world measuring at 2,172 feet deep. And well, what causes sinkholes is all about water. Basically, sinkholes often form in areas with readily dissolving rock like limestone, where acidic water erodes cavities underground. These cavities grow until the land above can no longer support its weight, causing a sudden or gradual collapse. Picture you're soaking up the sun, toes in the warm sand, and maybe your feet are even dipped in the water and the sky is clear. All of a sudden, the ground starts shaking, and suddenly you notice the water receding much further than usual, revealing the ocean floor like a sneak peek behind the scenes. These are all the telltale signs of an incoming tsunami. The speed at which tsunami waves travel seems out of this world. They can zip across the ocean at the speed of a jet plane. Best thing to do if you experience all these symptoms is to not wait around to see what happens next. Instead, head inland and try to get to higher ground. Asteroids, which are remains of our solar system's early days, occasionally cross paths with Earth. Unlike the movie depictions, most asteroids are harmless, simply burning up in the atmosphere. However, history tells us that some have left an indelible mark on our planet. For example, dinosaurs who once ruled the Earth had their reign ended abruptly due to a colossal asteroid impact. To avoid a similar fate, scientists diligently monitor the skies, keeping a vigilant eye on any space rocks that might come too close. And well, we even have technology now for asteroid deflection. This is real footage by NASA of DART spacecraft's first ever mission of intentionally colliding with an asteroid. This was a successful test, and the asteroid indeed changed its motion in space. Sometimes hurricanes happen in the ocean, bringing with them not just ferocious wind and rain, but also a menacing wall of water. This is called a stormy surge, which is seawater getting pushed ashore by the force of hurricane's wind. Thankfully, meteorological agencies such as the NHC are quick to identify and closely monitor developing hurricanes and issue warnings well before the arrival of tropical storm force winds.
Storm surge is water from the ocean that is pushed toward the shore by the force of the winds swirling around the hurricane. This advancing surge combines with the normal tides and can increase the water level by 30 feet or more. Storm Surge.
Earthquakes are generally not random events that happen out of nowhere, but sometimes the exact magnitude and timing can be a challenging task to forecast, resulting in unexpected moments, such as the 7.1 magnitude earthquake in Southern California that caught CBS broadcasters by surprise.
It continues
This is a very strong
to rattle
earthquake.
pretty strong here.
8:21 here on the air. We're experiencing very strong shaking.
Wow.
I think we need to get under the desk.
All right, we're going to go to break. We'll be right back after
We'll be right
this.
back.
Wow.
The causes of earthquakes are all about the Earth's tectonic plates. Earthquakes unleash built-up tension when Earth's tectonic plates suddenly snap past each other, like shaking off tangled puzzle pieces. If you find yourself in the midst of an earthquake, the best thing to do is stay indoors and take cover under a sturdy piece of furniture. Square waves are a mind-bending phenomenon in the open ocean that can turn a peaceful day at sea into a sailor's nightmare. These happen when winds blowing from different directions and opposite ocean currents meet, creating a chaotic mix that results in square waves. Unlike regular waves that boats can ride smoothly, square waves can make a vessel pitch and roll in unpredictable ways. So if you ever see them at open sea, go the opposite direction. Stars generate light and heat through nuclear fusion in their core. This process releases a lot of energy and balances the inward pull of gravity, keeping the star stable. Over time, stars exhaust their fuel, primarily hydrogen, and fusion slows down. This weakens the outward pressure, allowing gravity to take over and the star explodes. But when the star is big enough, gravity can't do its thing, and it creates a black hole.
They're black holes that are formed at the consequence of the death of stars. Stars born with this much mass, and it'll lose a certain amount of mass over its life. All stars lose mass because there's so much pressure and so much energy coming out, it carries particles with it. So they lose mass. They remain stars for 100,000, at most 1 million years, and they'll explode and become a supernova. If you're more massive than that, they will not explode because the gravity is so strong that it cannot explode against the strength of the gravity, and it collapses into a black hole.
And black holes are very interesting, with recent findings showing that when a star wanders too close to a black hole, they can be shredded by it. This is not a quick process. The video shown is a rendering posted by NASA of a massive black hole shredding a passing star, an event that took 200 days to happen. Thankfully, no black hole is close enough to be a danger to us, and not even the sun is massive enough to explode to form a black hole. But as if black holes couldn't get even more terrifying, NASA made astronomical data into sound to replicate what black holes sound like. As our planet cruises through the vastness of space, it occasionally encounters what we can call cosmic litter, which are tiny particle remnants of a passing comet. These particles are no longer than a grain of sand and ignite in a blaze of glory, creating the streaks of light we call meteors or shooting star. Blizzards are not just a regular snowstorm, but are defined as a storm containing large amounts of snow, or blowing snow with winds higher than 35 miles per hour, and visibility of less than a quarter mile for at least 3 hours. There are 5 categories of a blizzard: extreme, crippling, major, significant, and notable. An example of an extreme blizzard is the Great Blizzard of 1888, in which an ordinary winter day transformed into a relentless winter onslaught like never seen before. New York City in particular found itself in the worst part of this formidable storm. Snow drifts reached unheard-of heights, burying entire buildings and blocking streets. The aftermath was brutal, with people being confined to their homes for a week, and railway and telegraph lines came to a halt. Even emergency services were affected during this blizzard. Thankfully, since then, there haven't been any deadlier blizzards in the United States, and let's hope that's as close as we'll get to another ice age. Pink lakes, often found in various corners of the globe, are a testament of the incredible diversity and uniqueness of our planet. But what exactly causes these lakes to take on such a surreal hue? And well, the answer is bacteria and algae. These produce pigments like chlorophyll that contribute to the rosy coloration of the body of water. One of the most famous pink lakes is Lake Hillier in Australia, which is just as salty as the Dead Sea, making it extremely easy to float in. Sadly, you can only see the lake from a plane or helicopter since it's not open to the public.